Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us at the MarketSite studio, we have Miller Levy, co-founder and managing partner of Primetime Partners, to discuss Innovators building new solutions for America's aging population. Abby, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to TradeTalks.
Great to be here.
You know, it's so interesting. We hear about innovation when it comes to infertility or education technology and so forth, but this is a massive addressable market, the aging population in the U.S.
Absolutely. So most people don't think about it, but right now in the U.S., about 16% of our population is age 65 plus. Due to grow about 21% in the U.S., that's 1/5 of our population that's going to control about 2/3 the healthcare spend of our country and 2/3 the net worth. And yet, as an overall economy, we tend to not talk about the opportunities of building products and services for an older market.
And you gave me an interesting stat here from the Danish Aging Research Center. 50% of children born after 2004 will live to be over 100.
I mean, it's fascinating to think individually, what if you live to 100? What are the different decisions you would make on your career, on your housing, on your healthcare, if you knew that you would live to be 100, and then you amplify that, and our society isn't really set up for that.
Right, well, I mean, traditional financial planning models and portfolios, I would imagine they're not taking that into account, that people are going to live healthy and be very active in their 80s, 90s, and 100s. So, I think there's a lot of education that needs to go into that for the aging population as well as advisors.
Absolutely, and one of the things that I find so interesting is that these are issues that you have to start thinking about not in your 60s and 70s. We need to bring that forward to our 20s and 30s, because some of the most important decisions we make, particularly about maxing out our 401ks, retirement savings, et cetera, that compound interest and those decisions start now, as well as buying different life insurance, annuities products, and of course, preventative health. I mean, the number one cause number one economic cause is heart failure within our healthcare system for older adults, and heart failure is largely a behavioral disease. So the choices we make when we're younger have a huge impact on how we age.
I also think there's a number of flaws in the U.S. healthcare system as well that kind of exasperates it. I just can't imagine some of the social safety nets we have being enough should people live in their 80s, 90s, and to 100.
Well, that's a very ethical question that's been debated. I think the reality is it's going to happen. And so how do we increase our health span, not just our lifespan? And when you think about the health span, I mentioned there's a lot of behavioral and pieces around our weight and exercise and mental health care and reducing stress. But then it's also around what we're seeing, and it's really exciting as an investor in this space, the biosciences, the life sciences, and the behavioral health, all really kicking into gear to support this. And so that's what we do at Primetime. We're a venture fund that focuses on investing in businesses that improve the quality of health of older adults. And so many of the solutions that we invest in the healthcare are focused on this behavioral health that can really change outcomes for individuals.
What would be an example of a company or two that you have put money behind and that you think within those verticals is something interesting?
Well, certainly within healthcare, we're really excited around this area of supplemental benefits, of what your health plan, as you know, in America at age 65, you're eligible for Medicare. Some people opt for a Medicare Advantage plan. And there's a wealth of benefits that is afforded to you, from fitness to food, transportation, mental health benefits, et cetera. And so we've invested in businesses that are both provide those benefits, but also that help health plan members navigate. I mean, how many listeners today actually ever go to their health plan website to see all the things that are offered to them? Very few. So there's a business called Duos, which helps health plan members navigate and understand what their benefits are, as well as what the federally available benefits are. There's $30 billion of unused federal benefits every year that go to seniors. There's another company we've invested in recently called Connie Health. Well, Connie Health helps match older adults to health plans during the open enrollment season, which is typically November to January, where older adults have the chance to enroll in Medicare programs. So how do you know which is the best fit for you? So in addition to investing in the benefits, we also are really excited about health plans getting behind this member engagement and navigation so that people actually utilize what's available to them.
And are they relatively affordable for an older population?
Well, usually they're free. So in this case, majority of healthcare benefits are paid for by the payers. So you have your premiums that you might pay as supplemental, but in general, it's included with Medicare. So this is really much more about accessibility than anything else. And so for example, we're invested in a business called Total Life. Total Life is fully funded by Medicare and affords older adults the access to mental health care, up to 2 appointments a week with a therapist, completely paid for. So when it comes to healthcare, it's really in some ways around accessibility to all of these benefits and services that are already sitting there, but typically have utilization rates of 2 to 7%.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what are the utilization rates? So it's just a matter of having the knowledge that these do exist and then being able to navigate them.
100%, 100%. The other area that I think is very relevant, though, is as we think about some of the things coming out of COVID, is we do have a workforce shortage in healthcare, and that is something you see every time you have a hospital administrator or a health plan administrator talk about the challenges in the industry. Is that we need more people, and one of the things we're really interested in at Primetime is we actually have this untrained, unpaid labor force called family caregivers. In the U.S., there's 53 million family caregivers who take care of a loved one, typically women opting out of the workforce in order to take care of a parent, an aunt, an uncle, et cetera. And so we also have been investing in solutions like Carewell and Ready, Set, Care, and businesses that really focus on how we can enable this family caregiver. In fact, President Biden has put that into some of the legislation as well, of we need to tap into the resources and also relief for this audience.
Well, that's interesting then, because if you are taking care of someone, if you get the proper training, once that care is done or the person gets better or doesn't get better, then you're able to take that skill set and work in other areas of healthcare.
Well, that's really the hope. That's something we'd like to see. In fact, one of our investments in a business called Aidely helps family caregivers get paid. And once that happens as a family caregiver, the hope is that they would seek further certification and training to enter the workforce as a professional caregiver. So there's a lot on this topic. In fact, actor Bradley Cooper started a foundation to focus on family caregiving, and there's just, it's really a new industry, if you will, this area around aging and longevity.
All right, Abby, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.